Hello everyone, welcome back to God Talk each week on Cambridge Community Access Television. We get together and talk about God, talk about faith, talk about life, talk about being, talk about why we're here, what we're doing, and why bother. And as usual, I am joined by my friend Michael Coran, who is wearing a white shirt. I, Michael Mack, am wearing the blue shirt and the Red Sox cap.
Wow.
And what's our topic for this
Prayer.
week?
Prayer.
Prayer. Do you have any questions about it?
I love when you pray, and I've been discovering that you pray even when you're not praying, often, to me.
Well, praying really, for me, is about remembering more than anything else. You know, to be a human being is to often forget to be present. It's to be somewhere else. It's to be thinking about something else, planning something else, worrying about something else, fretting about something else, preoccupied with something else, and forgetting that we're right here. And so prayer is just a way of remembering that. It's, I guess you could think of it as like a heightened presence, a heightened sense of the here and now.
Wow.
And so in the here and now, we can discover things about ourselves and things about life that we can't if we're busy, preoccupied with something else. And we can have a more authentic encounter with life if we're not preoccupied with something else. So prayer really is just a way to practice doing that, of being present. And for many people, prayer is about verbally being in relationship with another. It's about having a conversation with God. It's about having a conversation with Jesus or with the Buddha or Allah or however we conceive of God. So prayer really is just a way of being in relationship with and in conversation with something much greater.
Because usually I think the word prayer means to ask for.
It can be. That's a narrow way of thinking about prayer.
I think that's the etymology of it.
Yes, it's a request.
Yeah.
You're asking for something. But would it not be asking for something to ask for greater awareness or a greater sense of presence or a greater sense of reality?
All of those sound wonderful, but they seem to be about what isn't here at the moment. Asking, not being present.
Well, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Because to ask for something is to begin by admitting that we're lacking in something,
Yes,
right?
yes. And we want it.
But I think that prayer is bigger than that. However the etymology, the derivation might have evolved, one way to pray is to ask for something. I mean, to ask, really, to ask a question is to seek something. And we're told in at least one of the Gospels, Jesus tells us that seek and you will find.
Ask and you'll receive.
Ask and you will receive, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open. So it begins with a request. It begins with a question.
Yes.
It begins with a petition. And at a certain point, I I think we have to give up the request. We have to give up the petition. We have to practice a kind of trust, a kind of faith that somehow, some way, the request has been heard and, in fact, has already been answered.
Has already been answered.
Has already been answered. In fact, was answered a long time ago.
So I often find myself saying, Lord, help me.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, help me.
And what, can I ask why you say that? Why you ask that?
I don't know. Actually, these words just come.
Yeah.
When my mother was dying, she just kept saying, help me, help me, help me. And I can suggested she say, God help me.
Do you know that she was addressing a specific person or entity, or was it more general?
It seemed that it was just, I being her son, I now understand it better. Just the words come. They're not they surprise me when they come.
Well, you know, Michael, I think that I totally understand that, because that's what prayer is like for me. That at a certain point, so the prayer begins, it may begin in some kind of formal way or some kind of traditional way, but at some point I let go of that way, and the words that come through me in prayer are sort of like not my own. It's like they come from something else or someone else, or they are a movement that is not consciously directed by me.
Yeah, I think it's a deep, for me,
Yeah?
it's a deeper part of me
Yeah.
that just says, Lord help me. One of my teachers said that human beings are, he called it homo religiosus. We're basically a chip off the old cosmic block,
Yeah?
and we want to get to feel the cosmos, and we need it, because that's like the ground from which we, like a tree from which we grow.
Don't we want everything? And the cosmos, of course, is everything. I have heard it said that when we look at the lives that we're all living, we're constantly seeking this, that, or the other thing, whether it be money, or it be love from others, or it be things, or success. I mean, we're constantly seeking after something. It's kind of in our nature to seek after something, but none of these will satisfy. There's only one thing that will satisfy, and that's, well, some call it God, however you think of God. But the way that I think of God is that it's kind of everything, and that the only way that I can be fully satisfied is to know that I am in relationship with everything, and to some degree, I am a part of everything. Everything is a part of me. I'm in that way, I'm free. I'm free of this body. I'm free of this psyche, this mind, because I, the true you, is part of everything and everyone. And this body will die, this mind will die, but the everything will continue on. And if we can identify with that, if that can be our identity, and that, I think, is the secret behind love your neighbor as yourself, because everything in the cosmos is our neighbor. If we love our neighbor as ourself, we recognize that our neighbor is ourself. We recognize that everything is a part of us. We are a part of everything. This body that I'm living in right now is constantly transforming. After I don't know, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, this body will die. And this personality of me, will it go somewhere? I don't know.
Well, actually, every cell in 7 years is renewed. It's a different.
I understand that that's so. And in fact, most, I think, within 1 year, 90 some odd % of the cells in the body, I think, are replaced.
So your body really is a way. It's not a thing. Because everything
It's a process.
Yes, it's a process. As well as everyone else's.
Yes. It's all part of one great process.
One big super organism.
Yeah. And I suppose to recognize that is to realize a kind of peace. That you will not die, you will live forever because everything around you is you.
Yes.
And will continue on.
And I will too. And
yeah.
Just like now
you may or may not as the personality that you and I identify with.
I might have better taste, you never know.
Good Lord willing. May it be so.
So now, and this is in relationship to prayer because
prayer is the avenue to the recognition of that.
Wow. So when
and again, I say a prayer is not necessarily a repetition of particular forms. The forms are just there to get you to that special place.
Be connected to everything.
Yeah.
So when I say, Lord, help me,
yeah,
I felt that today, that divinity is a community, which includes humanity, and even the water and the sky.
Well, that's the secret, we're told, behind the Trinity.
How much?
That the Trinity, the mysterious, beautiful truth behind the Trinity is that, at least as it's expressed in Christianity, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, it's really all about relationship, in community with. That each of these persons of the Trinity are part of one. That they are one and they are many. And that is a template for us in the world. That there is you and me and the studio and the number and our audience members. We are many, and we are also one.
Yep. And
so if we can get to that place of recognizing that, a natural expression of that would be greater kindness, would be greater selflessness, I guess.
Sad, all the bad things happening to so many people.
Maybe, well,
things. But ultimately, it's everything.
The sadness, I think, would come out of knowing in ourselves that we are all connected, we are all one, we are all part of some great, beautiful thing.
Yes.
But that not all of us recognize it. And if all of us did recognize it, what a world we would live in. What a heaven on earth it could be.
Well, then people might not be treating each other so badly.
Exactly. Exactly.
But where we are now, there's, which is the heart of Christianity too, other pain and suffering is around also.
For sure.
And I think I understand Christianity. I mean, we can feel that, be part of that, and know we have compassion on that, certainly, and know eventually there will be resurrection. But our compassion includes feeling the pain, I think.
I think it does. And I think that an idea you don't hear often, but that I think is true, is that God feels that pain also.
Sure.
That God is living through us. And so it's not like God is some trend. I mean, God is not like hanging out in the clouds, looking down on the human beings, having a horrible day, hurting each other, killing each other, and saying, not my problem. That's not God. God is participating in each and every encounter.
So he's with us with the.
He's with us.
she.
Emmanuel. God is with us.
Um,
God is participating with us.
so when I say, Lord, help me, yes, that's what it is. I want to feel what you're saying. I'm asking God to help me get out of me and join the divine community, the human divine community, since Jesus is a human, and as well as a member of the divine community.
That was codified in Christianity. It took a century or two before I think that was really codified. The idea that Jesus was both divine and human. God was both God and man. He was perfectly human, which means what? He makes mistakes. He goofs up. He is a little over the top sometimes. Fails sometimes, but is also divine, right? And so would that mean that he never fails and he's always perfect? Can they be simultaneously true?
Or maybe embracing, as I said, the failures helps them. When I get up and hear Mahalia Jackson sing every morning, he's got the whole... So we can make mistakes and still feel, if I understand what you're saying, we still feel that he's got the whole world in his hands, which includes the mistakes we're making.
What makes most sense to me is that there's only one thing going on. There's only one thing happening. There's only one purpose. And it is good. I can't explain it. I don't understand it. But it seems to me to be the greatest possible truth. That we are participating in this phenomenal oneness.
Yes.
And most of the time, we don't know that. We're kind of asleep.
And prayer can help us. Yeah,
Prayer,
that's what you were saying.
Meditation, contemplation. I mean,
yeah.
When I say prayer, I'm talking about every internal practice.
Because I find more and more as I get to know you that even the words that you shared just now feel like a prayer to me.
Well, I don't know what that means. I mean, St. Paul exhorted us to pray without ceasing. And so, we have a call. Should we take it?
Sure show.
Okay, let's do it. Pick up. Hello, caller. Hello, can you hear us? Hello?
They have to turn off the television.
No, can't hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine.
Can you hear me?
They need
Yes.
to turn off it. Tell Barbara to
Okay. I just want to tell you it's nice seeing you two handsome men.
Thank you, Barbara.
I met Barbara. She's that beautiful woman.
Tell him to turn his head face to the camera.
Face the camera, Mike.
Oh my, I like looking at Michael Mack, but I'll do this for you, Barbara.
Thank you, Go. There you go, you cutie pie.
Oh, thank you, Barbara. You're pretty. You're cute yourself.
Can you hear us?
I think she needs to turn off her television.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. I'm going to sit back and listen to you.
Thank you, Barbara. I love you.
If you turn off your TV,
Love you.
She wants to say
Have a
goodbye.
blessed night.
Okay, you too.
You've helped.
Thank you for calling.
That feels very nice. Nicer than usual to me.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
How do I look? Is this close? Do they see me now? I can look at you, Edmund. Is this better?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, you're a little more angled.
Oh.
I feel like I've done a disservice
Oh, wow.
to this, which is really my, all the things that I like to talk about and practice and think about prayer is probably number one. It really is the center of my life. It is the center, it is my central practice in life. And I feel like I've done a disservice to describing it, explaining it.
I've been moved by it, what you've said, and informed, even though I've known you for 10 years. And I think you were practicing what you were preaching. You were talking about prayer, and the words were a prayer. You were continuing.
I would like to think that that is so. Oh, and it was St. Paul's exhortation to pray without ceasing that we had just started talking about when Barbara called.
Yeah.
So, well, I think that's the goal. The goal is to be in a place where we are constantly remembering, constantly presenting ourselves, being present, listening, because prayer is not just petition. Essential to prayer is also listening, to be the heart reaching out, but also the willingness to receive what comes back. And this listening of the heart is more often than not with the ears. It won't necessarily come as words, as something oral. It will be an impression. It will be a movement of the heart. It will be a quickening of the heart. I'm reminded of that moment in the Gospel of Luke where Mary goes to visit her cousin Elizabeth, and they greet each other. Elizabeth, who was aged, had just become pregnant. She's very excited about that. She sees Mary, and Elizabeth said, "The instant that I heard your voice, the child leaped in my womb." And that, to me, is a great expression for the movement of the heart. That what prayer opens up is a quickening of the heart, a quickening of compassion, a quickening of sometimes sorrow, or a movement towards repentance, or desire to right wrongs. It can be a quickening of joy, a quickening of delight in recognizing that we're not alone, that we have a partner in all of this, no matter who we are, no matter where we are. And I honestly believe that there is not one single being in creation that is not partnered, that does not have at least one partner. Every blade of grass, I think, has angels or Christs, or I don't know, some kind of holy partner. There is not one being that does not have a holy partner with it. Because, I mean, if God is love, and we understand God to be love as Christians, if God is love, what is the greatest possible thing? The greatest possible thing would be a call coming in right now. So let's take it. Hello and welcome to God Talk. Are you there?
Hear me?
Hello?
Hello?
Barbara.
I'm here. Are you there?
Yes, can you hear
Can
us?
you hear me?
Yes? It'll be easier for you
Yeah.
to hear us. It'll be easier for you to hear us if you turn down your TV and just talk to us like this.
Oh, okay.
That way there
Okay.
won't be that lag time.
All right, I turned it down. I
Okay.
just want to tell you.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you something.
Yeah?
I listen to Charles Stanley every morning at 10:30.
Charles
At
Stanley?
5:90 a.m. in the morning.
Okay. Charles Stanley?
You'll love him. I promise you, you'll love him.
Okay. What's Charles Stanley
Charles
talk
Stanley.
about? What's he talk about?
5:90 a.m. at 10:30.
10:30 in the morning at 5:90 a.m. And what is it show about?
Yes.
What is this show about?
It's all about Jesus and Abba, Father God.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for the tip.
You'll love it, I promise you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We have 1 minute to go,
And
so
next week I'll turn you on. You tell me you heard them.
thank you. Bye. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, well, we've got 40 seconds. How can we wrap up our little talk about prayer? What is prayer?
Prayer is connecting us to everything and realizing everything is infused with a freeing love.
I like that. I like that definition. Let's go with that. That's God Talk for this week. I'll see you back next week or next time.